Hey, boys and girls, welcome to a great episode. At least we hope it's great. Of the Tipsy Irishman. I forgot my name of the show.
Yeah, it happens when you shoot this late at night.
And finally, we got our schedules together, and my old partner over here, he finally decided to show up. And of course, we got Trace here in the back. The old live mascot is inside because she's crazy when Jake shows up. Today's show is the Grinds habanero mint. Very awesome. You'd think it would suck. It's actually pretty damn good. Go to getgrimes.com, check it out, order some stuff. Right now, I believe they have a couple cans for free if you buy, I think it's 6 cans. Or if you go to the next level, it's free shipping and some free cans. There's always some kind of deal, believe it or not. They do try to work with you and give you some love. In the comments, put in Tipsy Irishman sent me, and that'll help me, hopefully help you. And on with the show. Today we got some special stuff, and I'm a complete novice when it comes to these particular items. Although I know they're awesome and great. We're going to let Jake take it on from there because he's the man who knows.
To be fair, this is my first bottle.
To be fair.
Of Michter's 10-year bourbon, so I'm a novice in it as well, although I have had it.
And to say, he ordered this a year ago.
Over a year ago, yeah.
And that's finally showed up yesterday.
That's what I wanted to start talking about when Ed and I first started hanging out. One day we were just kind of chit-chatting about what's in the system, what's available to order, and he's like, oh, I've got all these crazy high-end bottles. Like, let's order them, let's see what shows up. And a year later, a Michter's 10 walks into the store.
The gods open the door and said, oh.
So I thought it would be really interesting to bounce the 10-year bourbon off the 10-year rye, especially talk a little bit about how the MSRP on this has jumped this year. MSRP on this one out the door was right around $200 this year, which is a pretty significant price jump.
What was the total out the door?
It was like 200. It was like
I think it's like, what was it, 180?
Yeah, something like that.
5 before tax?
But this puts that in the price range of that like single Rick House, of the Midwinter Night Dram, of the like the really high end, some of the really high end stuff that you and I have tried recently. So it will be interesting to see what we think about it because one main drawback.
Hope it's worth the money.
Yeah, the main drawback and the biggest knock against these is they're low proof. They're both 46.5, so they're coming in right around 94-ish.
Oh, I was like, what?
93, 94-ish. Like, they're pretty low proof.
What's the general price of the rye?
You know what? I don't know because I traded for this one. Again, join your local Facebook groups, join your local bourbon groups. We do a ton of trading locally.
It's
bottles like
legal.
this, right? Bottles like this don't show up very often. And the other good thing about it is generally when you trade with folks like that, you also say, hey, I've also got XYZ on my shelf. What do you got? Let's trade some samples.
I got some ABC. You want it? Oh, don't say ABC.
Yeah, right.
QRS. I got some QRS.
But it also helps to kind of trade around samples and get an idea of, what it is. I did this backwards. There we go. We'll do this.
I'm very excited though. I'm really loving ryes lately.
Yeah, this is actually, I just traded for this like 4 months ago. I had just opened it, tried it, and then it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. I'm really weird about some of these higher end bottles that are harder for me to get my hands on. I look at my shelf and I'm like, man, I really want to drink it, but then I remember how hard it was for me to get it. This in my entire whiskey journey, this is the only one I've ever had. The only other one I've ever seen in the wild, my buddy got it from the ABC vault. He had to work, get it through the ABC vault for him to even get his hands on it. So I'm real hesitant to kind of.
I'm impressed that he's actually opening this, boys and girls, because. Some people wouldn't sit on. And just FYI on your shelf, you need a bigger shelf.
Yeah, I know, right? You got a pocket knife? This thing is.
Not on me, but we can get one.
Yeah, we're probably not even going to do the wax.
This is what happens when we just do our show together. There's no production staff, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Right?
To back us up.
See if you can grip that thing. That's brutal.
So you pay a lot. You want to make sure you don't.
But Michter's is also a really interesting brand because their shelf available stuff is relatively expensive. Most of their shelf available bottles are in that $50, $60 range. And they have a ton of different offerings.
Really want to drink this.
Yeah, right. They really want to. The other bottle that people talk about like this that's really hard is the King of Kentucky is supposedly
what?
King of Kentucky.
King of Kentucky.
It's supposedly really difficult to open as well. But Michter's being interesting in that their shelf available products are relatively high end. They don't have a super low end offering. They don't have a $20, $30 bottle out there. Most of their stuff's gonna be in that $50, $60 range. They do a lot of finishing stuff. The Michter's Toasted is really popular. It's not my flavor. And prior to this bottle, the Michter's Toasted was the only one I'd ever tried, and I wasn't a huge fan of it.
That works.
And it
We got tools.
kind of turned me off from the brand for a little bit until, like I said, my buddy snagged one of these from the vault, and we were able to try it together. It's like, man, that's super, super tasty. So if I ever get the opportunity to get my hands on one, I want to get my hands on one.
The show is halted.
You know what's so funny? I didn't want to. I want to do it live. Like, oh, it's a fresh crack, and this thing is just vicious, dude. It's just so thick. So anyway,
never a dull moment on the show, kids.
Yeah, right. You never know what's going to walk into the store. You never know. There we go.
We're getting there.
What your local guy is going to be able to get their hands on, and things may be different for you where you live. At least here in Florida, the Michter stuff doesn't really exist on the shelves. Like this isn't something that.
Except for the 3 normal ones.
Yeah, the US 1 stuff, the toasted stuff, their generic stuff.
Well, just for an example, I've been approved for a ton of stuff. I've got about 33 things on my system. I got about 15 items that I actually get on a regular basis that are special. And but I have about 15 to 20 items that are just sitting in my system that I just can't obtain. I don't know why, but that's how it is.
So like what? Like the Michter's 20 or the Michter's 25?
The Michter's 20, 25, Sam Houston.
Oh, yeah, Sam Houston 15s are really good.
All the Fitzgeralds.
Nobody can get the Fitzgeralds.
Quite a bit of stuff. There's just quite a bit of stuff that I haven't always. Spring Mill, which is excellent. You can find some Spring Mill because it's not expensive. It's just hard to find now. You can get one. I guarantee you will love it. Spring Mills is fabulous all day.
Man, that was an adventure getting that damn thing open. So anyway, now it's open. We
Better taste amazing.
We can drink it. But so Michter's again one of those weird brands where a lot of their stuff is super high end. The bourbon's in the front, rye's in the back. Even these bottles are really, really expensive, and there's levels up from this. This is the 10-year. They do a 20-year. They do a 25-year. I've seen those things trade in the $3,000 to $4,000 range on some secondary sites.
Just FYI, if you were able to get a 25 from me from my establishment, it is just it might be up more. The last time we looked when we put the order in originally,
1,300 or something.
I think it was
800. Like
no, 950. I think.
The retail on
$9.99.
But again, it's a 20-year product. I mean, you got to think about how long it took. And not only that, Michter's doesn't release one every year. So they did a 20-year release for 2023. So there is a 20-year release coming out for 2023. I don't believe there was one in 2022, which is why it was super limited in what was actually released. So they taste those barrels, and if they're not up to par, they're not going to release them. That happens sometimes. This is a brand new 10-year. The batch on this one.
It's a brand new 10-year.
Well, it's kind of important.
No, it's just funny when you say the brand new 10-year. It's been around
because with the rye, they didn't start releasing this 10-year rye again until like 2014, I think. So they've only been doing this version again for a couple of years. So it is hard to find. It's hard to get your hands.
I like when you find stuff that's it's got dates, that's got years on it, and then what if it's been sitting around? But the Puros I did the other day, that was actually Jake's one of his original bottles from back in the day. It's a 10-year bottle, but God knows how long it was before he bought it, and then how long it was before he gave it to me. And then,
and especially with the distribution network in Florida, man, like ABC, there was a time that I was buying Stag 17 in the stores. My brother-in-law got Stag in the vault, and when he went to pick it up, it was Stag batch 15. ABC had been sitting on it for like a year, just sitting in the damn warehouse because that's just kind of what they do.
The older it is, the better it is. You know what I'm saying?
Let's start with the rye. I want to start with the rye, man. I like I said, I opened it and drank it. I do remember enjoying it, but I don't remember much about it after that. So, cheers.
Salute, my friends. Mm-hmm. That is the most mellow smell rye I've ever had in my life.
Just pure wintergreen, minty rye. And that is like quintessential.
You know, it's funny
rye.
When I do the rye, I can't think of words. That's a good word.
That is quintessential rye. I mean, but you can take a huge there's no spice, there's no astringent notes, there's no like ethanol burn.
No, I call it, what do I say? I say the paint thinner. There's no paint thinner.
Yeah, and oftentimes with the rye, you get like this weird kind of Band-Aid smell, like plasticky kind of smell, but there's nothing in here, man. You coat that glass up.
I like the darkness too.
Yeah, it's got great color. 10-year, man. When they let them sit around for 10 years, they generally get some really good color. You can kind of see here in the bottles that they'll pull some of that color in. But
here's to me. Here's to you. Here's to him. Wow. That is good.
Damn.
Shit. So, I did a post the other day. I don't know if you watched that show. I said that compares kind of to the Knob Creek 100 proof rye. This beats it out the door all day.
That's fantastic. It's got a good rye bite to it for that low proof. Like I said, 92, 93 proof. There's not a ton of bite there, but the rye spice really comes through on the back of the palate, on the tip of the tongue. It's sweet.
Waiting for the heat. Let's see if it comes out. It's gonna go right down here, about here.
Yeah, I'm not getting a constriction, no Kentucky hug.
No,
it's not
Kentucky hug.
It's not brutal in any way, shape, or form. It's
We're gonna start trademarking all these things he's saying.
Yeah, don't do that because they're all stolen.
Winter Spice, Kentucky hug. We're gonna have on the back of our T-shirts. It's gonna say all this stuff on the back.
Yeah, ask me for a Kentucky hug. Man, that's super tasty.
Oh, that is good. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, that's.
I was gonna try with a little ice, but I messed up.
It's just real
We'll
down the middle.
Let's see what we can do. We get a little lump.
But it's got a good oak note to it. It's definitely got some age. It's not.
Got some age for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't have that kind of young, grainy. There's no harsh notes in that at all. Every note that comes through is right where it needs to be.
It's pleasant heat.
Mm-hmm. Very level, very mellow, just
Trademark.
delicious.
Let's start trademarking. Trademark.
I like that a lot. I don't remember liking that much. And again, this has been open for a little while. This is a fresh crack. I'm not a believer in the neck pour. I don't think it has anything to do with where the liquid is in the bottle. But I do think that the more air gets to the liquid, the more the bottle kind of opens up over time. But that's delicious. I like that a lot.
So, no ice. Not terrible, but it really killed the pleasantness.
Yeah.
What happened there? Oh, let's see.
Yeah, this
I
is
would
perfect.
say, don't scare me. I would say if you want it cold, no ice, freezer.
Oh, bro, smell that. What is that?
Hang on, let me clear the palate.
What is that note? Oh my god.
Oh my god. Let's see. Here we go.
I haven't smelled anything like that since Willett did an 8-year release, a wheated bourbon that was really, really good.
Is this wheated?
I don't believe so. I don't know the mash bill on it. I'd have to look it up. But that smells incredible. That's just like dark fruit, toffee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Little wood.
Yeah, little woody.
Which kind of wood? That's the big.
Man, whatever that's
very weird.
I'm
before I started doing this show and getting with you and getting really into it and learning stuff, I couldn't pick out woods. I actually pick out woods. I'm like, that's oaky.
Yeah.
That's kind of mesquite. It's very weird.
I'm hoping that dark fruit note stays into the palate because
and again, great color.
Yeah, the color on it's fantastic. Nice and dark. Cheers.
Cheers to you. Salute, my friends. Wow, that's super mellow. Wow.
Wow, but then the heat builds way in the back. That's bizarre.
That is a smooth tenure, my friends.
Holy crap.
What do you think, Trace? Yeah? All right.
Whatever that note is, whatever that smell that comes through on the palate, it's kind of dark, sticky, figgy, almost.
Figgy.
It's really hard to put my finger on. It's almost like when you're eating dried fruits and your mouth gets real sticky, kind of. That it's dense. There's viscosity to this.
He's got some great pronouns.
I try. I got to come up with some way to tell you what it tastes like.
All I can say is you better go buy this shit.
What's interesting though is I don't get a ton of like traditional vanilla, bourbon type notes. It's more like caramel creme brulee almost. It's more darky fruit and almost like with a burn. Not quite toasted, like a toasted finish bourbon, but something more with that kind of.
There's really no real description. Interesting.
Yeah, they don't give you much.
Let's see if
it's in the tag.
Yeah, watch me in the tag.
It's really good though. It's very, very good. At the $200 price point.
Oh my god! I don't know if you can read that. I can't.
Oh, tiny letters. I don't know at the $200 price point. It's probably really cool to have on the shelf. It'll probably freak out some whiskey nerds when they come to visit your house. It is a cool bottle. It's really, really good. But man, at $200, I don't know. I don't know that it's
120.
I'd say close 140, 150.
Right.
I mean, it's.
I don't think I bought it, so.
But I will say the only thing I can really compare it to is that Willett Wheated, and that bottle trades around $450 on secondary. And so if it's anything in that range, then okay.
This is a great just smooth pour.
Yeah, it's again that 90.
Kind of like when you see like a old Grandad 114, it looks cheap, it's fairly reasonable, and then you're like, oh, that's a great pour for 114. Like that's not 114. It absolutely is.
So at 94 proof, the bourbon's slightly higher than the rye. The rye's 92 and change, but I think
it's where the rye is less.
It doesn't drink to that proof, man. It drinks like it drinks like basil, like 80 proof. Just it's delicious. It's super approachable. Again,
God, what does that smell?
It's really bizarre. I don't know what it is.
So just in case you guys don't know, and I know you all hate me when I put ice in it, but there are people who only drink it on ice, and I'm just like, sometimes when you throw ice in it, even if it might change the flavor, it sometimes brings out a lot of good notes. That's why I do it.
Yeah, even a drop or two of water will help to open
exactly.
whiskey. You know what? I've got a whiskey meetup coming up here at the end of the month, and I may bring this with me and chit chat with some of my buddies and try to put my finger on what that note is to help me better understand what I'm tasting. because I'm not quite sure what it is, but I like it. I like it a lot. It's delicious.
It's good with some ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The bourbon is?
Bourbon's good. Right, you gotta be careful with rye. Sometimes rye will turn 180 on ice. But if they do that, if you have a problem drinking them straight, and you do that, just throw them in the freezer. A couple days in the freezer. Make sure it's open first, and then try it. I think you like it. It makes everything that you put in the freezer, no matter what the proof is, turns into a velvety consistency, which is very yummy.
Man, that's fantastic. I need to go look up the mash bill on this and see if there's any information on the internet. I would think that there is a decent amount of rye in this mash bill because at 90,
tasting it right, but that's good.
But at the 94 proof, there's more bite in the back of my palate, very similar to the rye, which is why I wanted to do it first. I'm getting more bite in the back of my palate. Where generally, like high proof stuff hits you at the tip of the tongue or it hits you in the gums.
Right.
This is just all in the back of the tongue and roof of the mouth, and just really, really good. Slow building heat. The finish is relatively short. I'd say the finish on this is in that 10 to 15 second range. It lingers a bit, but it dissipates very, very quickly.
God,
That's fantastic. It's really, really good. Don't get me wrong. It's not that it's not delicious. It's just I believe the retail on this last year was around 170-ish or maybe 165, and started to jump to where it is now at that 200 out the door price.
And to be fair, on everything, it's not just this particular bottle. Everything has gone.
Everything's jumping.
In terms of liquor, I've seen $6, $7, $8 increases, and then all the specialty stuff, the good stuff, has jumped. I think even I looked the other day. I think even Buffalo Trace at my store has jumped
Up around $30,
over
maybe.
30 now.
So something else to note on these are single barrel, and so there could be a huge disparity between in taste. I can't speak to that because I've only ever had two of them. I've had this one and my buddies. We could side by side them and see if there's that much of a difference. But they are single barrels, but they are both single barrels. So what we're tasting may not be in every year's release. They could be different. So it's kind of what the distillers hope for. Honestly, they want a little difference year to year because then you got to go buy it because it's different. It's not the same, right? You got to rush out and grab it.
It's not the same.
Exactly.
Hello.
So go get yourself another $200 bottle that you're gonna sit on for years and years.
Please buy it again.
But I think between the two of them,
I gotta be honest, I gotta say, I think if you mix them, would be very nice.
do like a burr rye.
Well, just put them both together. Just
Yeah.
throw them both together and try it. I think it would be great.
I do gotta say between the two of them, and again, I'm not the rye guy on the show. I very much enjoy this rye. This is very, very good. That's why I saved that last sip. I wanted to go back. I wanted to go from the bourbon to the rye as opposed to the other direction. It's fantastic. It's got very good subtle notes. It's well structured, balanced. Nothing's jutting out and overpowering it, and there's
That's
complexity and just it's really, really
I'm
good.
very happy and pleased with both.
Yeah, for sure.
And happy that Jake's my friend. And want to do the show with me once in a while.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I've been battling a sinus thing for like 3 weeks. It's been
bad.
brutal. Like, a couple of doctors come around saying antibiotics. I'm finally on the backside of it, so I can smell and taste. I actually lost taste and smell for a little bit. I took a COVID test. It came back negative. My wife swears. She's like, "Oh, you had the corona." Like, I don't know.
You got the rumness.
But I was so congested, I lost taste and smell for like 8 hours. So anyway, we're on the mend, and hopefully
He would do this every day with me. We could. But,
in a heartbeat, because we do have a lot of bottles we get through. Like the Heaven Hill and the Peerless, we could have done together, but it was just easier for me to be like, hey man, I'm out of commission, but here's some cool stuff. You know, try
delicious.
Yeah, that Heaven Hill, man. I'm actually bummed on that one because that is my favorite bottle in that $50 range. That Heaven Hill bottle to bond is fantastic, and especially with what he's selling at normally around $49.99. I think it was like $52.99. It's a great pour. It's got ages.
I've seen a few places that I've looked at that are kind of off my radar that I go once in a while because the wife wants to go look at stuff. That I find 57 to 63.
Yeah, it's
So I'm at $52.99 today.
It's a great price.
Probably shouldn't say that because tomorrow might change.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, if you know who I am, you know where I'm at. Come in, get some. Got 6 bottles. Come on down. Check it out. I'll sell it to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, friends, this has been an awesome night. Trace loves that you showed up today, and we're glad that Jake feels better and he's here. And don't forget to go get your grinds, please, because it's good for you.
And go get your $200 Michters. Right?
If you can find them. Like I said, it took us a year A little over a year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was like 14 months. I went back. Yeah, it's crazy. But hey, listen,
It's like
it
how
showed
an
up.
elephant isn't pregnant. That's all I'm trying to get this.
But it showed up, and we opened it, and and now it's something we can say we've tried, and
Yeah.
it's been on the show, and it's really good, and we
It
can
was
speak to
it was worth the wait. Not sure of the money, but the
Yeah,
wait for sure.
Definitely worth the wait. Definitely worth the wait.
So, boys and girls, hit and like if you like the show. If you enjoy us, if you just like Jake and not me, whatever, doesn't matter. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Now you're part of this show now. Tell your friends. Check it out. And we need subscribers really bad. We're on the verge of making this to the next level, and you're the ones who can help us do that. And we will love to have you and your friends watch the show. Till the next one, my friends, drink one for us because we're drinking one for you. Always. We'll see you in the next one.